What's up, everyone? This is your host, Sean Johnson, creator of Benchminer Hockey, and welcome to episode number 29 of the Benchminer Hockey Podcast. This is the hockey podcast that covers single-A hockey news and stories from players and staff. If you are watching us on our YouTube series, be sure to subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out. I love doing this. I hope you guys are enjoying this, so we want to keep this going. Today's guest, Mr. Ryan Howard, he is from the Danville area, so it was awesome to speak with him. He's a local from that area, played hockey there, supported the Dashers, supported the Bobcats, and he's got this cool thing going with the Danville Pickup Hockey League. So we talked about all of that in today's podcast. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this episode, and I really appreciate Ryan coming on and chatting with us and talking hockey. Hope you guys enjoy. So you don't even have to live in Danville to know how much Danville hockey means to that community.
Yeah, absolutely not. So, I mean, it's a big deal around there, and it's always been a big deal for us. And just being able to share that atmosphere with even visiting teams, and we're pulling in people from all kinds of local areas and whatnot too, just to come and play pickup hockey with us, and getting all kinds of local businesses involved, and then in turn getting a pretty big youth program as well to follow us too. So that's been a pretty big builder around us as well.
100%. So let's switch gears here a little bit. Let's talk about the SP real quick. I don't want to, harp on it too much because, that's in the past. But I basically just kind of want to know, when the SPHL announced a new team in Danville, what were your initial thoughts?
So obviously the initial thought is, okay, great. We're at least going to have a hockey team. I mean, we were always on board with if we're going to get rid of a team that everybody was, so established and so fond with, at least we're going to have some kind of hockey. And, that sounds like we're moving in the right direction because it's supposed to be a higher level of hockey, so we had some high hopes. That's for sure. Obviously, nobody will be able to look at their record for the year and a half and think that it was a very successful season. But that happens when you're starting a new team. Every new team has, a building period and whatnot. So that was kind of expected, but obviously just an all around vibe of disappointment, just the way that it kind of went about and the way that it ended and everything too. So.
Right. And do you believe that professional hockey can survive in Danville if they have the proper leadership and management?
I do. Like I said, I feel as if the barn that we have in Danville was made to host a Fed team at least. I think with the attendance mandates and the arena size and everything that goes into having the next kind of level like the SPHL was requiring, I think there were some hard steps to take there. But as far as what we had built with the federal hockey team, I think that's why that barn is perfect for that. So I think with the proper management and leadership, which I think that we were on the right track for doing that. And I think we still have the bones to do that. I do think that it could survive and succeed very well in Danville.
Right. And here's my last pro hockey question for you. If you could give the next owner of a pro hockey team in Danville any advice on behalf of the locals and the fans, what would it be?
Be social. I know we've all got that personal positive bias for Coach Harry and what he did for the organization here. But he really made it a point to be out in the community and, get to know people, and not just, be focused completely on hockey and his job. He took it upon himself to be out in the community and, get the boys out there too, and really show, what we can do to help Danville, not just the personal things of, getting a winning hockey team, but it's more than that. And it's more than that around here, which obviously is why we're kind of going in the direction that we're going with the organization that we just built for this upcoming season. But yeah, some of the biggest advice that I could give is, just be social, be part of the community with us, because we want you here just as much as you want to be here. So.
Right. Yep. We're going to get to your team in just a moment. Let's talk about the arena real quick. So the David S. Palmer Arena, I know they sent out requests for proposals here twice now actually. But
Uh-huh.
I know they sent those RFPs to the Fed, to the SP, to the SP, or to the ECHL and USPHL. Have you heard anything about that in your area?
Say they're definitely really quiet and very to themselves. So I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
the long and short of the relationship that we have with the management at the arena just kind of involves our team and what we're going to be doing for this upcoming year. And they're all
Mm-hmm.
doing a pretty good job of just trying to keep that close to themselves so that way they don't get anybody's hopes up and whatnot. But as far as any kind of inside scoop and whatnot, unfortunately, I don't have much to touch on that. But I do know that the effort is there, and that they are trying their hardest to get a pro team back in Danville this upcoming year.
Oh, definitely. They're doing their due diligence, which I do appreciate because you don't want, another Bobcat 2.0. I don't mean to call out the team, but I'm just going to say it like it is. We
For
definitely don't
sure,
want
for
another
sure.
situation like that. So I can understand them taking their sweet time and, going through their processes and doing what they got to do.
Mhm.
For those that don't know, the proposals have to be submitted by October 23rd. And then the board is going to have a meeting on October 25th where they will discuss the proposals that they received. Um, I personally talked to Barry this morning, and he did notify me that he did submit another proposal. The first one got rejected because they only wanted 2-year proposals, and I know he submitted multi-year, so I don't know if he did 3, 4, 5. I don't have that information, but they basically
Mhm.
denied his proposal because it was multiple years, more than 2.
Sure,
Um, and they received no other RFPs the first time. So this is the second run of the RFPs. He submitted another one and kept it multi-year. And he is unsure if they've received any other ones to this point. Up until today, he is unsure. So the only
sure.
thing that we know for sure right now is that Barry submitted an RFP again for
Mhm.
more than 2 years. That's all I have right now.
Sure. And
Um,
then any other additional like speculation we have, we've heard of other teams having interest and whatnot, but from what little that we know and have heard through the grapevine, it seems like that might be kind of the disconnect. There may be some um, teams that want to sign the multi-year as opposed to what sounds like they potentially don't want a multi-year contract. But again, that's something that's out of our hands and we don't have much information on. But either way, we want
right.
to see a team back and we want to see a team stay. So,
And from a business standpoint, I mean, you can't really disagree with Barry. I mean, most pro teams are going to want 3 to 5 year contracts. 2 year contract is tough. They're basically saying, "Oh, you have 1 year to build a fan base and a team, and then show us what you got year 2."
right,
I don't know if anyone's ever done, built a hockey team from scratch before, but let me tell you, it's not that simple.
right. Absolutely. That I mean, and we definitely see that as hockey guys and people that have been around this. So we definitely understand that that's going to be a difficult pill to swallow. So, hopefully when it comes down to making that decision, they meet in the middle somewhere. So
100%. So we don't know if we're going to see a pro team, in Danville quite yet. I'm hopeful. Like you said, I think it's a great, Fed town. I think that's a perfect fit. But even if it's not Fed and if there's still hockey there, I'm sure the fans would love it regardless.
right. And just kind of, not trying to get at it again, but that's kind of what we're doing too. That segue to, just
Mhm.
keeping the community aware that, we still want hockey here. We're trying to give them what they want, for them to come out and, get their fix in and whatnot. But, overall, all of us being guys that still play and coach hockey and are from the area, we're representing the community on that side of things too, in the sense of, we're very hopeful. We're trying to show everybody that we want a team there, that this is a hockey town. So whatever has to happen to make that happen, we would love to see a team back in the barn.
Right. So I know you're itching to get to it, so we are finally here. Um, we'll put down the Fed stuff. We'll put down the SP stuff for a minute. Let's talk Danville Pickup Hockey League and the Danville Flyers. For those that don't know, who are you guys and what do you do?
Yeah, for sure. So, kind of how you introduced us, that's basically what it started out as. We're just local guys, Danville Pickup Hockey League. We get together, we play a couple times a week. At the end of the year, we always play one big championship game. We really make it as competitive as possible. We split our teams up evenly. We get some refs. We have some fun. We get a meal after. It really has just kind of transpired from that. If you got a little wind of it, I know you definitely did last year. But we put on this
Mhm.
event at the very end of the year. We always call it the Hopkins Cup. We named it after a former guy that used to play with us. And so we took this opportunity. It all kind of worked in our favor to where obviously we had the fallout with the Bobcats, and that was very unfortunate, very disappointing. And unfortunately, Danville got a bad rap for that for a little while. So we wanted to make sure that we took that opportunity to put some positive back in the barn in regards to hockey. So we got the chance to play this game, and with the unfortunate circumstances that one of our boys had an illness in his family. His father was battling cancer at the time, and so we turned this Hopkins Cup into a benefit for his dad. And so when word got out about that, he was a big time member of the community. Lots of people knew who he was, and it just did not take long for people to start donating their time, their money, and efforts into putting this event on. We had a lot of local businesses there. We got the concessions open. We got some refs. We got our previous PA announcer to come in and really give us the full-on experience of a professional hockey game. Something that a lot of some of the guys that we play with have not had that experience before. So it was really cool for them to be able to do that. We got a full warm-up, 3 20-minute periods. It was the whole nine, and it was a lot of fun. And we raised a lot of money, and it turned out to be a huge success with a little over 1,000 people that ended up showing up. And so with that success, we were approached by the arena to do that again this year. But since we did not sign a pro team, they're allowing us to do that once a month. So we actually have our first game here in less than 2 weeks on October 28th. And then we're going to get to do that once a month, hopefully all the way up through March. And then in April, we're probably going to do our Hopkins Cup again and create a different cause for that. But either way, we're on the books for the first 3 months, October, November, and December, with some local charities and small business opportunities to highlight their businesses during the games. And just really kind of turning it into a community event and getting hockey back out there for this year.
That's amazing. So let me ask you this. I apologize. I can't remember his name. I know that you guys called him Coach. What's his name?
The gentleman that was for the benefit for last year.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, his name was Terry Rosdale, and he was the father of one of our boys,
Harry. Yep.
Alex. And so he's been a member of our team for a long time. So it was
Mhm.
definitely something that just kind of made sense given the unfortunate timing of events. But it turned out to be a
Mhm.
very big success, and it was a lot of fun while doing so.
Absolutely. I'll have to go back in the archives here and maybe share it on this podcast. But Alex actually did reach out to me, last year when we were doing everything, and he basically just sent me like this heartfelt message basically saying thank you, because I guess we were the only real, I don't know, news page that kind of put your story out there, and I love stories like this. I don't like that it comes down to someone getting sick or something bad happening to do a benefit, but at the same time, these are the things that bring communities together. So it's nice to see that teams still do this.
Yeah, for sure. And say it was really great opportunity for all of that. And we didn't realize that the game got as big as what it was until pretty much we showed up that day and we saw all the help that we actually had. And then the people that came to support. And then obviously halfway through warmups into the first period kind of thing, seeing how many people actually showed up. So it was a big success.
Hmm.
And then obviously when we got a little publicity from you, it would definitely kind of made us feel like it was all worth it in the end.
Right. Well, I hope you guys know that even if nobody covered it, you guys made a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if Bench Miner shared it or not. It's you guys put it together, you guys made it happen, and you made a difference in someone's life. That's what it
For
boils
sure.
down to. So you guys should be super proud of yourselves, and um, whoever organized it, I'm sure it was a group effort, but whoever organized it, wow, what a job. I mean, I'm looking at the pro team numbers on a daily basis, and I'm seeing, we'll say about 200, I think, at the time for the VC Bobcats. And then I just see your guys' pictures and 1,000 plus fans, and I'm like, what did they do? Their marketing department needs to contact the VC Bobcats to give them a hand.
So yeah, definitely a group effort with some special emphasis on a few key players in there, and some of their significant others to really get things started. I definitely came in a little late on the planning of the first Hopkins Cup and that benefit. So there was definitely a good core group that was there. And as soon as I got wind of it, I jumped in and was like, hey, I know I live a little far away, but I'm happy to help as much as I can because that's the home barn for me, and I still play pickup with them a couple times a week. So I definitely jumped on that opportunity. And obviously, as soon as we got wind that we were going to be able to do it again this season, multiple times, jumping in as well. So definitely a group effort, definitely a good group of guys that are all motivated for getting the sport of hockey back in Danville, and then obviously bettering our community as well.
Absolutely. And let me ask you about the Hopkins Cup. First of all, how did you guys come up with the name? Where does it originate from?
So like I mentioned, there was a guy that played hockey with us. He was a pretty big staple around here, and then in my early years of playing pickup, probably when I was around 15 or 16 years old, was the last time I remember having him actually out on the ice. But he definitely was a big staple around here. His children played here. He still comes back around and takes pictures for us. He took a lot of pictures at the Hopkins Cup this past year. Trying to give him some recognition for that too, but he's a super humble guy. So he tends to stand off in the corner. You don't really know that that's him kind of thing, but we know who he is. And it was just kind of an opportunity for us to honor somebody. And we definitely had a few older gentlemen in our pickup league who suggested that based on them knowing him for so long, and it all just kind of made sense. So we kind of just took the opportunity to honor one of our local members. He doesn't play with us anymore. I'm sure if we really twisted his arm, we may actually, we might get him out on the bench or something with us. But have not seen him in a pair of skates in a while. But that's kind of where that came from.
Well, that's an awesome story as well.
Gonna say his son refereed our game last year too. So when all that came about, his son came and he was our guest referee. And while he was in the stands taking some pictures and just kind of enjoying the game. So but yeah, kind of full family moment there for that name. So
Yeah, that's very cool. I know that you told me that the David S. Palmer Arena kind of approached you guys and want to continue to do more benefits. Um, I guess this is like a two-part question, but first of all, why do you think that they were so impressed and want to keep it going? I'll keep it at that for now. Then I'll switch to my other question after that. Why do you think the
sure.
arena wants to keep it going?
Well, I think just for starters, just to kind of put more into that arena, because I don't know how much you know about the arena, but it is a community event space. It's not specifically for hockey all the time. Obviously, it is an ice
Mhm.
rink, and that's the main thing. When you walk in, you look at it, you can tell it's an ice rink. But they do all kinds of community events as well. And then just through those particular months, outside of a few sport tournaments, there's a couple holiday festivals that they do, maybe a concert here and there. There's not something that's kind of keeping those months going consistently. Our youth program has grown significantly over the last 10 years. So that's something that we have a positive going for us right now. But definitely having the opportunity to see what we did for the Hopkins Cup and then take that opportunity to still be able to do that, without a pro team being here and give the community, some good hockey. I mean, we are essentially stemming from a pickup league, a men's league, but we have some solid guys on the team. And if I could put any kind of plug in there for anybody that's, wondering about, who we are, where we're coming from, it's definitely guys that have played hockey, such as myself, guys that have coached hockey. And we even have some Danville Dasher alumni that are going to be on our team this year. So if that gives any pull for some people in the community to come back and see some familiar faces, they can absolutely come and do that. And I'm currently working with a few Dashers right now that have not been around in the area, but trying to get them to come either be a guest coach or make some celebrity appearance to do some, ceremonial puck drop, whatever, just to kind of get them back into the city of Danville while we're doing these benefits as well. So I really think the arena saw our potential with being able to do that and
Mhm.
keeping the communities involvement and excitement for hockey while they're still trying to piece things together to get a team in there. So
Mhm.
I don't really think calling us a placeholder is the right word, but definitely just something to keep the community's hopes up for hockey being back, and then still giving them some good fast paced action to come watch to hold them over until they get some things figured out on their end.
Right, and that kinda leads me into my second question that I had there. Um, I know you said, "Oh, well, since we're not gonna have a protein this year, they approached us and, they asked us to do these 6 benefits." So, let's say that each benefit, brings in 1,000 fans or more, hypothetically. Do you think that seeing those numbers and seeing what good you guys are doing for the community, that the arena could kind of make more time for you if they do get a pro team? So let's say the Dashers come back. Do you think that the arena would give you, let's say, like a Sunday game once a month to continue to do these benefits? Do you think that's fair? Or do you think that's something they would do?
That's kind of a toss up. I really think it'll come down to what that agreement is that they sign with whatever team it may be. You
Mhm.
know, depending on the league and the team, they have Friday, Saturday, Sunday stints, depending on when they play, when they practice. I don't see why we couldn't have that opportunity, especially if we planned it around away games, when they're not here on the weekends. Um,
Mhm.
I don't I'm not super confident that they'll let us do it once a month once they get a full time team in there. Um, but I would say that that would definitely be an opportunity for them to still allow us to do that and do these fundraisers and charity events for our community, and highlighting, Danville in and of itself, on top of having a pro team there and having that pro team support on top of it. I don't see why they wouldn't take that opportunity to allow us to continue doing it. But I'm skeptical on whether they'd let us do it once a month, but definitely still being able to let us do it to some extent throughout the season. On a bias standpoint, I would hope so anyway.
Right. No, me too. More hockey the better, first of all, first and foremost, but especially if you're doing it for a good cause. And like you said, if, Dashers are on the road for a weekend, why not? It's, a weekend where you guys, the ice is available, the fans have nothing going on. Why not?
Absolutely. Say, like I said, I'm sure there's more behind the scenes stuff that, none of us all are too familiar with, but depending on, what that agreement is that they sign and who gets what and when, and then obviously in collaboration with our youth sports program too. And
Mhm.
obviously we want that to happen. We would love to keep doing that because, that gets us back out in front of a crowd and, doing it for a good cause and doing the thing that we love to do. So obviously we want that to happen. So hopefully we can make that happen.
100%. Myself, I've been to Danville many times. I love it there. I think it's a great town, and it reminds me a lot of, my hometown team here, Watertown. It's a community team. They love their team. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. They just love the sport. They, love their team. Um, but speaking of that, actually, Danville Dashers, I know you just said that you have a few former Dashers that play with you guys. I know you said that you're talking to a couple alumni to bring them in for, guests or puck drop ceremony, whatever. We actually do have a lot of Danville Dasher fans that follow Bench Minor. Are you
Mhm.
able to give us any spoilers on who plays for the team or who you're trying to bring in for a guest?
Sure, sure. I'll definitely spoil who's on the roster because we're about to make that public, especially here within the next 2 weeks that we're going to have some. We're going to have our first game. So um, a big fan favorite back in the day was AJ Tesserero. So he's a big fan favorite. Great guy, great people person. Guy can talk to anybody. So when he was here, and if you didn't get the chance to talk to him, I'm sure he'd make a point to come talk to you during this event because he's a great guy. So it's great to have him still around in the area to be able to still come play with us, and you know be humble enough to realize that we're playing pickup hockey, and he's just a fun guy, and he doesn't take anything too seriously and whatnot. So he's just an easy, laid back guy, super fun to play with, super great guy to be around. Another guy on the opposite side of things, really loves to throw the fisticuffs, Mr. Levi Armstrong. He had a nice stint with the Dashers there in their later years, and then he went and had a stint over in Columbus as well. So he definitely was the man with the fist to back it up. So He's been local. I actually played high school hockey with Levi, so him and I go way back. But we got him to join up on the team as well. So outside of them two, and like I said, if you count me having 2 weekend games, and then we also have another gentleman, his name is Brock Drews. He played a few weekends as well. Just kind of like me, we never really played full time, but he was one of those guys like me that got called every now and then, and definitely did their pre-season skates and all that fun stuff. So those are the guys that are actually on the roster. But as far as the guys that I'm working with to kind of come and do some special stuff, those ones I'm gonna save for later. So I'm hoping that those ones kind of the fan out, and we're gonna make some social media posts when I get those locked in. But I will say that I spoke to two of them specifically today that are very interested. Don't think I'm gonna get them here for the first game, but definitely for the November December game, I'm probably gonna have them out for that one. At least one of them at one and the other at the other. But definitely gonna get something special there for the fans. So
Well, that's awesome. So, I mean, AJ Tesserero, he was a huge fan favorite in Danville. I remember him very well, scored on us many times.
that long
Um,
stick.
and, and same with Levi. I know he recently retired from the Fed. I know he was in Columbus last year. So he was actually just on, not just, but he was on the 10-minute misconduct podcast. So shout out to them. That was a pretty cool episode that he did with them. So if you haven't heard that, go check it out on
Yeah,
YouTube.
yeah, for sure.
Um, we will have to bring him on our show eventually. Now that
Hmm.
I know he's involved with Danville, more reason to bring him on, right?
Absolutely.
So let me say this real quick. We're gonna share the graphic you sent me. We're gonna share that in this video podcast.
Okay.
But there are 3 games that are already planned: October 28th, First Responders Night; November 25th, Military Appreciation Night; and December 9th is Toys for Tots. Doors open at 6 p.m. Puck drops at 7. Free admission, giveaways, and more. What more can you tell us about these 3 games that are scheduled?
Yeah, so definitely something to keep in mind that's going to be different from the Hopkins Cup. The Hopkins Cup was all us. That was definitely everybody involved in the Danville Pickup Hockey League. We have a big following and a bunch of guys that come play with us. And so we split up our team as evenly as possible, put on a good show. That's what the Hopkins Cup is for, specifically for us Danville folk. These games, we definitely wanted to make sure that we gave the fans a reason to come back. Aside from putting together one of the better rosters that we could put together for the community, and getting some alumni in there, and giving them a reason to kind of come out. We're reaching out to play other traveling teams, so it's not us playing against us every weekend. We want to give the fans something
Mhm.
different and a reason to come back and see something new. So especially like this first game where we have our first responders night, we're actually playing against a team called Champaign United over in Champaign, Illinois. It's comprised of police officers and firefighters who play hockey. And from what we've seen and what we've heard in communication and collaboration with them, it should be a pretty good game, pretty close matchup for us. Same goes with the November game. I've reached out to a contact of mine who has been a competitor against me throughout my entire life, and he has lots of connections, putting together a little bit of a local all-star team. So he's going to come over and give us their best shot from people that he's pulling from across the state. And then November, kind of the same thing, but a different area. So a couple different all-star teams from across the state coming in to play us. Just kind of giving the crowd a different team to play against as opposed to us playing against each other every week, which, could get repetitive and still fun,
Mhm.
but not, we definitely want to make sure we give them a reason to keep coming back.
Was that a shot at the Fed? Because I know I've seen the schedule. The Fed schedule this year is rough. They like the northern teams don't play the southern teams, and the northern teams play each other like 14 times. It gets very repetitive.
Sure, sure. Say, nope, not a stab at them, but definitely just trying to take an opportunity to have some diversity in our opponents. So,
Absolutely. That's very cool though that you had those connections. You can reach out and, like you said, you have a competitor, but in reality, he's willing to help you out. So I mean, the hockey world's a small world, and if it's for a good cause, competitor or not, it doesn't really matter.
Absolutely. And, lots of people that have done this in the past and, looking for any kind of excuse that they can to get back out in front of a crowd. And either way, everybody's going to bring their A game and it's going to be a good hockey game. So don't think just because you see the word pickup or you hear men's league or anything like that doesn't mean that it is not competitive hockey, because we have a solid group of guys, and we are reaching out to solid competitors to put together their best to come over and give us a good game. So definitely trying to keep the competitiveness level up, and giving the fans what they want. So definitely going to have some fun with it. That's for sure.
Well, like you just said, I mean, regardless if it's beer league, men's league, pickup league, you just mentioned that you have two former professional players on your roster. So
Right.
I don't really think that pickup or men's or beer league really matters at that point if you have former professional players, including yourself. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah. Say we definitely got a stacked team. We got some good guys, and that's why we're combining efforts amongst ourselves, and reaching out to some guys that we know across the state that definitely have the same kind of connections as we do. So that way we all match up pretty well and give the fans a good show.
Absolutely, 100%. Running low on time here, so I'll just ask you one or two more questions here.
Oh,
Um,
sure.
I know that we just talked about, your first three games, October, November, December. When will the last three games be announced?
Yeah. So, to be quite honest about that, I'm not entirely sure. So, we did in our original meeting, over the summer, we did get confirmed that we were going to have one game a month between October and March. And then the stipulation between whether that March game or our April game was going to be the Hopkins Cup, but we will get that figured out before then. But I think the main deal was to just kind of roll out the first three games, start getting some advertisement out there, lock in those dates, lock in our teams, try not to bite off too much more than we can chew, kind of thing, in regards to setting
That's
up the
fair. Yeah.
entire season. But we definitely worked with the arena to be like, okay, let's get these three on the books, get you going. Get everything squared away on the arena side of things, and then on our side of things. And then after our first game, we will reconvene, readdress, meet with the board, and our board, and then also the arena board, and then kind of go from there, just making sure that we got all of our ducks in a row, and know exactly what to expect kind of moving forward. What could change, and based on how the November game goes, definitely really solidifying some more stuff. So I definitely think if you don't hear anything, or if we're not able to release anything after the October game, definitely after the November game, we should probably be able to get some stuff out there and a little bit more concrete information about those games after the holidays.
Gotcha. That's awesome. So we have October, November, December locked in. You're good there. Um, Let me ask you this. I know there's three more after that. Is the Hopkins one of them, or is that an extra game? Are there two um, like benefit games and then the Hopkins game? Is that the three?
So that's one of the things that's kind of up in the air. It's really
Okay.
going to depend on what the arena would kind of work with us on after the holidays, and just to kind of see if we get an additional opponent whenever that time comes for scheduling. We're probably going to take that opportunity to do that, and then still have ice in April, make time for our Hopkins Cup. But as a group, we definitely decided that Hopkins Cup game is always going to be something unique, and since, like I said, it is reserved specifically for us guys in the Danville Hockey League, just playing against each other, and making that a kind of a family ordeal. That game is
Mhm.
always going to be something unique. We're always going to be fighting for something, and then raising some kind of awareness, doing something for the community on that game as well. Whether that's one of the official games that we have for this stint that we're doing with the arena or not, that game is still definitely going to be in and of itself its own benefit, and charitable cause as well.
Gotcha. Well, let me just say that I think everything that you've told me so far and everything we talked about, I think you guys are doing a heck of a job. I think it's amazing what you guys are doing. And like I said, you guys should be super proud of yourselves.
Yeah, we appreciate that. I mean, all the help that we can get. Any kind of plug I can put in regards to, if you're listening and you want to get your, local business sponsored around the Danville area, get your name out there. You want to donate, you want to help us out any, visit us on Facebook. We do have a team manager who monitors that on a daily basis, and we'd be happy to get you all squared away, as we get our season all prepared and underway, and, get our first game going here in less than 2 weeks.
Right. Well, you beat me to it. I was just going to give you the floor to let you say whatever you wanted to say before we wrap up here. But what I'll do is we're going to throw that graphic up one more time so you guys can see those games. We'll put the link to you guys' Facebook page in there. If you guys want to donate to these awesome causes, please do. And I'll throw some contact information on there for who should be the contact if anyone wants to contact for donate.
Sure. So if you need some help getting connected, obviously, since I'm on the podcast, you want to reach out to me. I'm happy to make that connection for you. On that infographic, there is a QR code. If you want to scan that, it'll take you straight to our Facebook page. All you got to do is send a message. And like I said, our team manager, her name is Sarah Thurman. She will be able to get you all squared away. Once you release or once you message the Facebook page, she'll respond back to you with an email address, get you all taken care of. And she's very, very quick to do so. Very motivated, very, very helpful. And she was also one of the biggest ones that helped us out for that Hopkins Cup back in March. So definitely she'll be able to take care of you.
Awesome. So happy to hear that. Thank you, Sarah. And is there anything else you want to add before we wrap up shop here?
Nope. I guess all I got to say is, we're just a group of guys trying to make sure that hockey stays in Danville. If you guys have any questions, you want to come out, you want to be involved in any way, we're always looking for, some additional help. We'll definitely put you to work in regards to something to do during the day for game day, or just kind of getting you involved in some way, shape, or form. We're happy to help and happy to be a part of this. And just so thankful for the opportunity, and then also thankful for you letting us share our story with so many of your listeners. Again, if anybody has any kind of questions or anything at all, reach out to me. I'm happy to get you in the hands of the right people or take care of you myself.
100%. And like you just said, always looking for volunteers, always look for help. Kids in school, like high school or in college, internships, like people look for things like this on your resume. So even if you go help out for a weekend, like throw it on your resume or throw it on whatever you got. It looks great. You know what I mean?
Oh
So
yeah.
take that into consideration as well. But I really do appreciate you coming on the show and talking Danville hockey with us. If there's anything that I can do or Bench Miner can do to help you guys out, we're all in. So
Yeah.
we'll keep in touch, and if anything comes up, please let me know, and we'll. I can't wait to see some of these games. Are you guys going to stream them?
So we did stream the Hopkins Cup. So that's something that we got to lock in. We just locked in our announcer for the games, but either way, that's something that we had done for the Hopkins Cup. I'm really hoping that we get to do that again, but it's on our list to make sure that we solidify before that first game. So that is the plan right now.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know, the schedule yet, obviously, but if the stars align and I'm able to make it out there, I will be there for the Hopkins Cup. Obviously,
Well,
can't make any guarantees right now. Got a 1-year-old
sure,
daughter, so
sure.
but this is something I would love to check out in person. It looked amazing last year, and I would love to be a part of something like that.
We'll definitely stay in touch with you. We'll give you the VIP treatment and all. So we'll get you all squared away, and we'll make sure that it's a fun game for you to be at.
Well, I appreciate that. Again, buddy, thanks for coming on. And again, I already leaked who's coming on the episode next. So if you're not tuning into this podcast, I guess you got to wait till next week to figure out who it is.
Yes, so. All
All right.
right.
Talk to you later, buddy.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Of course. No problem.